In this video, I will talk about operational documents for your future dental practice. Keep in mind that there are literally 100 different documents that you'll need to run your dental practice, but I will list the items that if you don't have them, you won't be running a dental practice legally. This video is going to be super boring, put you to sleep, and make you feel like there's a lot of other things to do in order to open your dental practice. This is the unsexy part of dentistry with all of its compliance and stuff. But I will also tell you that this is 100% needed, so grab your sugar-free Red Bull and let's power through this. Sugar-free cause, we're dentists. Oh, and disclaimer, keep in mind that each state law is different and some dental offices might need different documents here and there. Also, laws and regulations change, so always get professional help if you're trying to create a dental practice, like us at Clear Lakes Dental. Yay! But seriously, if you want to own your own dental practice without all the hassles, contact me via email or LinkedIn. But without further ado, let's go into our first topic. One of the most important steps is to create your business entity. First, you're going to have to know what you're going to be called. Whatever the name you decide, you're going to have to file with your state as a legal business entity. Ours is Clear Lakes Dental Franchise, LLC. LLC meaning Limited Liability Corporation. Anywho, building your business entity is the first step. In fact, there's a lot of business entities that you can choose from. Let's take a look. There are several types of business entities, including sole proprietorship, partnership, limited liability company, corporation, S corporation, and nonprofit corporation. For my clinics, I have an LLC and I get taxed as an S corporation. It works for me, and I'm sure most dentists structure their offices this way as well. If not, then they probably may be paying more taxes than they need to. Anyways, definitely talk to your CPA about this though. Also, whatever business name you decide to go with, make sure you have help with your attorney to file the paperwork. There's a lot of legal stuff like articles of incorporation, S-corp election, corporate minutes, and so forth. Your lawyer will explain everything to you. Most dental offices take insurance, and unless you're planning to do cash only, you're going to have to credential yourself and your associate dentist as well. But what information is needed? Well, first, let's define what credentialing is. Credentialing is a process where we form a contract with the dental insurance company stating that 1. You agree to take their patients, and 2, you agree on the reimbursement rates, which pretty much is how much you will be paid, and 3, for a certain time until there is a renewal date. And so, in order to collect money from the insurance, you will have to contract with them. There are lots of different insurance companies, and there are lots of types of insurance as well. The good news is that you can choose what type of dental office you want to be. So if you just want to take private insurance, then you'll have to credential with the Preferred Provider Organization, also known as PPO. Though if you're just starting out, you may want to start taking some medical assistance while taking PPO. From there, you can either A, drop medical assistance and continue taking PPO, or B, continue taking both. At Clear Lakes Dental, we take both. Though, let's look at the main difference between the two. The medical assistance and PPO insurances have pluses and minuses. First, let's start with MA. The bad points for MA insurance are lower reimbursement rate, very high patient volume, a lot of more staff needed, and generally have higher no-show rates. The goods for MA? Not much selling dentistry and not much advertising needed. I don't really like selling dentistry and I'm a terrible advertiser. So it works out. As for the goods of PPO insurances, they have higher reimbursement rates, decent volume of patients, not like a lot where it will kill you, and less staff and less turnover. Also, you have higher patient show rates. The negatives for PPO would be lots of selling dentistry, and typically there's a lot of advertisement needed as well. I'm always amazed at the dentists who can convince patients that they need crowns and implants. So more power to them. Okay, great. Now we know the difference between the PPO and MA insurances, we now need to know what items we need to credential ourselves, plus our associate dentist. And these puzzle pieces are federal and state tax identification number, national provider identifier number, and practice liability insurance. Keep in mind that there may be other information that you need, but these are your main ones. First, let's talk about tax identification number, also known as your TIN number. Oh, and by the way, while writing the script for the video, I thought of something strange. People always say TIN number, and that's redundant. It's like stating tax identification number, number. But everyone in the business world I know calls it a TIN number, so that's what I'm going to call it and refer it as. Just FYI. Anyways, let's look at how the IRS defines the TIN number. A taxpayer identification number, TIN, is an identification number used by the Internal Revenue Service, IRS, in the administration of tax laws. It is issued either by the Social Security Administration, SSA, or by the IRS. A Social Security number is issued by the SSA, whereas all the TIN numbers are issued by the IRS. Keep in mind that you will need both federal and state tax ID numbers. You know why? Because not only will the state take your money in the form of taxes, but the federal government will sure as hell will do the same. Oh, the cost of doing business, eh? The next puzzle piece will be your National Provider Identifier Number, or NPI number for short. And what is an NPI number? It's pretty much a bunch of numbers that you get assigned to. So it's like unique to you and only you. And the NPI number will be something that you use for important documents. All healthcare providers need an NPI number. You'll need to get an NPI Type 1 and an NPI Type 2. One's going to be for your business, while the other one is going to be for you. So let's take a look at how Google defines it. Google states the main difference between Type 1 and Type 2 National Provider Identifier, NPI, is who they're associated with. For Type 1, it's for individual healthcare providers such as dentists, physicians, and sole proprietors. Type 1 NPIs are used to identify the provider of a service on claims. And for Type 2, it's for healthcare organizations such as hospitals, nursing homes, and physician groups. Type 2 NPIs are used for billing purposes and direct reimbursement to the organization, not to the individual provider. Next, let's talk about professional liability insurance, PLI for short. So this is pretty much something that you will need if someone decides to sue you and your practice. Getting sued, at least in my experience, is pretty rare, though I'm sure it does happen. And that's why the insurance people make so much money after all. The chances of malpractice claims are so rare and easily avoidable, but that's a topic for another video. As with all the services we pay for, you probably should at least get 3 bids. They actually do vary quite a bit. And even though the prices are quite different, the coverage can be apples to apples in comparison. But who needs professional liability insurance? Well, let's take a look at an example. First off, you will need one. That means that you will need one for the dental practice and yourself, since you will be practicing dentistry. So there's 2. Next, you'll need one for each dental associate you have. So if you have 2 dental associates, you'll need 2 separate ones. In the state of Minnesota, we have awesome people called dental therapists. These are professionals that complete fillings, pulpotomies, stainless steel crowns, and primary teeth extractions. They will also need PLI as well. Next up, we have hygienists. They don't need PLIs. Finally, we have our cool LDAs. They also don't need PLIs. So, in summary, it's pretty much all of the practicing dentists and dental therapists in the clinic that needs PLI. Another boring yet very important topic. Let's start with the Department of Labor and OSHA requirements. It's actually the law for businesses to post up the Department of Labor and OSHA posters. This here are some of the documents needed. These aren't all of them, but I'm too lazy to find the pictures of all the other posters required. The government requires you to put all of these documents in a place where all of your team members can see. So, naturally, since everyone eats and rests in the break room, we decided to put these posters in the break room. Where can you find them? I knew you'd ask that question. So, just Google Department of Labor posters. Simple enough, right? Well, yes and no. There are a lot of scammers out there, so if you click on advertisements on Google, it will take you to a place where third parties will charge you for these posters. It's really dumb how they trick business owners. Anyways, if you look at the highlighted area, it reads, Department of Labor provides free electronic copies of the required posters, and some of the posters are available in languages other than English. So yeah, make sure you do this part, because if you don't, you will be fined and lose a lot of money. Next, you will need to set up OSHA and HIPAA training for your team members. Again, super boring, but very important. If you need a place to start, try searching for the American Dental Association website for OSHA and HIPAA training. You'll have to pay about $500 for this thing, but it's better than paying $5,000. Once you buy it, it will have DVDs on OSHA and HIPAA. It will also have quizzes and such. Oh, and make sure you keep their quizzes in the team member files for record keeping. Also, remember how I talked about $5,000 in fine for any HIPAA violations? Well, I wasn't joking. In fact, you can see significantly more. But look at the willful neglect not timely corrected section, plus its annual cap. That's $1.5 million. Wow, man, that's pretty crazy. But I'm sure nobody really pays that. Anywho, this chart is directly from the ADA website. As you can see, this is something you don't want to mess with. As long as you go through the training and train your team members, you shouldn't have any issues. Okay, let's switch over to the safety data sheet. The safety data sheet is basically a binder that has all of the safety and health risk for a particular product. So it's any product that you can buy, such as composites, cavity wipes, bite registration, whitening pen, alginate, eugenol, temporary restoration, heavy body, light body, bonding agent, pumice, toothpaste, prophy paste, fluoride, and pretty much I think you got my point. Literally everything. This is an example of a safety data sheet for a cavity wipe product. This is just the first page of the 8 pages. Also keep in mind that safety data sheet looks different. It's the company that makes them, so you just have to keep these records in a nice binder. Have you ever poked yourself with a needle? I know I have, a couple times. And it absolutely sucks. You know what sucks more though? When your team member does it to themselves. And when this happens, there's a super bothersome process that you'll have to go through. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is called the poke protocol. So pretty much what will happen is this. 1, the team member will poke himself or herself. And 2, the team members will let the office manager know. And 3, an incident form is made. And 4, the office manager sends the team member to the designated health facility to draw blood. And then 5, the team member draws blood at the site. There's a lot more to it, such as the various forms needed, team members following up for a reevaluation after a couple of months, and asking the patients to get tested as well. That, and sometimes patients don't comply. But that's their prerogative, so we only do what we can do. But needle sticks will happen. The biggest red flag that I see when team members close their needle caps and syringe is like this. No, bad. But if they do poke themselves, then insurance will pay for it. So you're covered there. But it's still not the best practice because 1, it's not good for them, but 2, your insurance will go up. As we all know, in dentistry, we all use x-rays, right? So it's like peanut butter and jelly. And as you also know, sometimes people can get a little weird with the x-rays thinking, oh my gosh, I'm 100% gonna get cancer. But as you and I both know, this isn't true and patients get more radiation from the sun. In fact, let's see what Google thinks. Google states the average person is exposed to more radiation from the sun than from a dental x-ray. The average person is exposed to 3.1 millisieverts of radiation from natural sources each year. Dental x-ray. A set of 4 bite wing x-rays, which are typically taken once a year, exposes a patient to about 0.005 millisieverts of radiation. This is less than 1.6% of the average person's daily exposure to natural radiation. So, pro tip, if someone is scared or hesitant of radiation, I always say, dang, it's so sunny outside. Did you drive here? And then they'll answer yes, or someone has driven them. You do know you get more radiation from the sun than these x-rays, right? Okay, so the patients are good to go. Check mark and done. But now we have to worry about the government because we use the R word, radiation. OMG. So what the government will need is something called a shielding plan. A shielding plan is a document that has a whole bunch of items on there that aims to help protect both the team members and the patients. Some of these items may be space requirements, structural requirements, types of x-rays used, dosages of the x-ray, x-ray control placement, and the list goes on and on. Basically, it's something that your dental supply company and your construction team will be aware of, but something to consider checking in on. One thing to note is that the construction team will add double drywall sheets for extra radiation protection so it passes the state requirements. Then the dental supply company will take care of the rest. So how do you get X-ray compliance completed? Well, again, it's very simple. This is actually very important, so please listen carefully. When you buy your dental X-ray equipment, you will need to ask your dental equipment supplier to create a shielding plan and submit it to the state. And they will do the work for you. Great! Another thing checked off the list. Hazardous waste is the next necessary must-haves to worry about. This one is county dependent, so you'll have to reach out to your specific county and go from there. What, you thought being a dental business owner is going to be easy? Well, it is. And I'll continue to share my secrets as I create more videos. So make sure you subscribe, man. Do it, and when the next video releases, you'll be able to find another gem. Anyways, let's look at some of the items what hazardous waste could be. Amalgam, X-ray materials, disinfectants and sterilizers, pharmaceuticals, silver polish, contaminated sharps, and extracted teeth. Yes, they consider extracted teeth to be hazardous waste, so you will have to throw them away in the red hazardous waste basket. Alrighty, so these are not really needed for running your business legally. However, it'd be a very, very bad idea not to have these. These two would be payroll system and a Google business account. A payroll system is pretty much a program where all of your team members can clock in their hours. This is super important because you have lots of team members and you can't really keep track of their time. So they will need to punch in their time and the system should register their hours worked. Also, it will calculate the amount of PTO accumulated and it can even organize all the legal documents needed for your team. Some of the legal documents would be like an I-9 form, W-4 form, and dental contracts if you have dentists on board, and other legal documents. It will be best to speak with your payroll system provider and go through all the bells and whistles that they got. So the next item that will 1000% help you is Google Business. Like, you cannot not have a Google Business account. This is where everyone finds you and talk good things about your company. So you gotta have it. I mean, look at this beautiful Google result. I just typed in Clear Lakes Dental in the search bar and already our beautiful ratings and our beautiful number of reviews and our beautiful phone numbers, they all show up. And by the way, I'm 100% serious. If you want to join Clear Lakes Dental and open in your city, please let me know. Our team will make it happen. Now we know the legal stuff for opening your dental office, we're ready to take the next step. The next step meaning hiring our dental team members. You'll have to hire so many team members to keep your dental office running and functioning. So in this next video, we're going to talk about hiring your team members, onboarding them, getting them on payroll, retaining team members, and if they don't work out, then things we have to do in order to part ways. This next video will be critical for your dental business success. See you there.